Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Thank you, Speech Club, and honored guests, and some of my best friends, as a matter of fact. I remember that when I was about 6, 7 years old, I got the very first book that I ever had for my very own. It was a King James Bible about this big, and it had my name right there in the gold letters, Daniel Hale, on the front of it. And I think that kind of says something about something good that my parents did as they gave me a start in life. And they raised me in church, and I'm not saying they were perfect. There are lots of troubles, but I got started off with Bible in my hands, and I loved to read. And I did read the whole thing. I think more than once over the years. And that particular one, I probably got through it at least once. So there I was at the age of 6, having gone forward in church, but then after I did it, realizing that I'd always wanted to know God. I remember when I was praying when I was younger, my parents were teaching me to pray even as a little child. Well, what I thought I'd do today is I want to let you know who I am a little bit, but one of the ways to let you know is kind of I looked at decades of my life. I thought, well, that's too many points. So we'll try to compress some of the decades a little bit, because I've been alive for just about 6 decades now, and that's kind of a little bunch. But that kind of, let's let that go for the first decade, And the second decade, then I got into and pretty much through college. And I guess what I characterize coming into college, I guess what I would characterize my life with is I was trying to be good. And by the time I got through high school, I realized I couldn't be good. So as I got into college, I couldn't, what really struck me was I couldn't love my enemies. That's something that the Bible has, these standards that you just realize. Bless them, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, pray for them that despitefully use you and persecute you. Those 3 things have haunted me since I was a kid. I haven't been able to do those things. At least not when I was younger, and yet little by little, as I keep praying for God to enable me, it seems like an ongoing process begins to make the impossible possible. Well, anyway, I got to college, and I realized that I had suffered some severe hurts in childhood, and my father was very controlling and too much of a disciplinarian, and I realized that I was self-absorbed in my hurt, and I was not really able to love anybody. I couldn't really love. I was thinking about what would come back to me. It was selfish. And so that started to be one of the first big prayers of my life was, God, make me a person who can love other people unconditionally, the way you love them. So time went on, and I began that prayer. And then as I got to my 30s, I began to realize how important it was that I forgive those who have hurt me. And I heard people talking about it, and finally I got serious. I said, God, I want to be able to forgive everybody. Help me to forgive. So then also, something else that characterized my 30s was meeting somebody that was a prophet. And he really did seem to be a prophet. And I thought, wow, what I like about prophecy is that prophecy is hearing from God. And if there's anything I want this bi-directional relationship. I want God to talk to me. I want to hear something from God. I don't just want to talk to God and think, did he hear me or not? And so I prayed for the gift of prophecy. I prayed for God to speak to me in dreams and visions and other ways. And, I kept praying, and after a while, he does sometimes now. And I'm very grateful for that. Thank you. Well, in the 40s, I began to understand that I was spending a lot of my time trying to please other people. I realized I was codependent. And so I took a break from organized religion for over 10 years. And you know what? I kind of helped me. I didn't leave God, but I stopped trying to please other people. I wanted to know how to be myself and be what God's called me to be. Well, during that time I got married, and I've gotten divorced. I failed in marriage. I failed in finances. I've lost most of my life savings. But you know what? I have completely forgiven my parents. And I began to learn how to love other people. And I remember Bob Jones told me, he was a prophet I met years ago, he had a dream. And he had a dream. There was one question that people were being asked as they came before the Lord was, did you learn how to love? And I think I could say that I'm at least starting to learn how to love. And you know, so I look at my life and I can see it as a failed life on one hand, because of divorce and not having any savings and not having a retirement. But I can look at it as a success, knowing that I have learned how, to some degree, to love and forgive.
And to evaluate his speech will be Judy Meyer.
Daniel, thank you. You, like Dan,